Do we know what the date is of the application?
Mayor and Council, I don't have the specific application in front of me, but Mr. Cantard and I were looking at each other. We think it's the end of April when the application came in sometime. Don't have the specific date with the application in front of me.
It was announced to us that by Mr. Kaneko that the application and the check came.
Okay.
In recent memory.
Okay. And will that copy of that application be available for citizens so they can review it?
I'm sure that it is, as all documents always are, Diana, which you know.
Okay. Then I would like to submit my data practices request to please send that to my address at 1321 Frost. Thank you.
Thank you. I trust there was no one else that wanted to talk on this particular item. All right, Council, what would you like to do?
I would make a motion to adopt a resolution calling for a public hearing to consider a tax increment financing housing district numbers 1 through 10 for the shores of Maplewood within the Gladstone redevelopment area. Second.
All right, so we have had a motion made by Ms. Wozluck and seconded by Ms. Juneman, which would call for a public hearing at which we would consider a tax increment financing housing district for housing district number 1-10. Mr. Nephew.
Just in terms of discussion on the motion, I do plan to vote in favor of the resolution calling for the public hearing, and I just wanted to say that I particularly appreciate that the report to be brought to us is going to include those different alternatives. And I think that there have been valid concerns, as we saw, for instance, on Gethsemane, on pilot payments and things of that sort, with respect to the increased costs that the city can have by having added need of services and so forth. And I'm also just personally, just kind of on a gut level, more interested in, particularly if there's any kind of bonding going on in the assessment approach on it, more than the other part. But I think staff has made a good point that obviously without TIF, the project wasn't getting going in the first place, and so there's some argument for us to keep our mind open, but I'll look forward to seeing all those different alternatives.
Are there other comments? Any other discussion? Hearing none, I would call the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's ayes all. So we will have a hearing coming up on the 26th. We move on then to new business, which the first item is White Bear Avenue, County Road D improvements, project 08-13, and we have a resolution of concurrence with Ramsey County for the award of bid and approval of traffic signal maintenance agreements having to do with a whole bunch of intersections.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As I mentioned, this is the award of bids, and actually what we're doing is concurring with the Ramsey County awarding the bids. There's a number of agreements attached for the expenses of the particular project. Briefly, we opened bids on May 12th. The lowest bidder was Eureka Construction. They're also a contractor they're working on 494, 694, have a large concrete plant that's working on the overall project. Bids came in 6% under the engineer's estimate. The estimate is below actually the original feasibility study, Council, so there are certainly cost savings available. Originally, when we did the feasibility study on this particular project, our estimate was $2.8 million for our share of the project. Would note that the total project cost is $20.1 million. Council, this is for both the White Bear Avenue project from County Road D down to Raditz, and also County Road D from White Bear Avenue over to South Lawn. And so it actually includes part of South Lawn too. So we are getting a free overlay of our South Lawn, or portions of our South Lawn, out of this particular project. So it's a large, complex funding plan. You can imagine